I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just realized. Alrighty, roll call. The flag, nobody know I was
Here.
bald.
Snyder.
Here.
Jankowski.
Here.
Martini.
Here.
Dumont.
Here.
Jennings.
Here.
Grant.
All right.
Sparks.
Here.
There you go. Oh.
I didn't see your face, yeah.
So we're just missing Ed and Eric, right?
Eric, yeah.
Yep. Correct. I don't know. We need a motion to excuse Ed and Eric from the meeting.
I move we excuse Ed and Eric.
All right, seconded. All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, beautiful. Agenda additions. We've got a super short agenda. We have room for additions if there are any. Bring anything good, Paul?
I didn't, I'm afraid.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Melissa, anything you need to
Nothing
add?
for me, man.
Nope. Good goods?
Present the conversation I had with the DNR.
Okay, yeah, we'll just talk about that.
Yeah.
Normal.
That's good.
Yeah, we'll just talk about that. Sure, we'll add it to 10E. DNR Lake Survey. All right, motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I motion to approve.
All right,
Second.
all right, so all in favor? Aye. All right, meeting minutes from last week, last month. Pretty simple.
They look great.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye. Moving right along, setting record number 2. Call the public.
Okay.
Moving on. All right, new business. The new business is supposed to be the fish stocking, right? So we've got $2,500 in the budget for fish stocking. That is the one assigned task of Ed. He usually takes care of it every year, talks to the village, talks to the fish stocker, figures out what is available for stocking, and then puts the order in. So I was assuming he was just going to tell us what the recommendation was, and then we would just take care of it.
I could probably add, I don't have to do it now, but in the new agenda item, I have some information from the DNR that relates to that topic.
I mean, you can talk about it now if you want.
All right, so I'll just jump in. So we received an email that was forwarded to me, I think it was the guy that drives the harvester,
Yeah.
saying that like he was concerned that he was out harvesting and like there weren't any weeds.
Yep,
And
yeah.
the ones he saw were dying. So I took it upon myself, I emailed the DNR Wildlife Management Division, and I got a nice lady named Sarah. She got back to me, and apparently their department has a staff of 6, and she said they have like 8,000 acres of lakes and river that they're responsible for, and there's a cycle every 10 to 15 years they get out. So our lake was done 11 years ago in 2012, and she sent me the whole report, which was, I think I shared it with you, didn't I, Ryan?
Yeah.
I mean, if you read it, it's just incredible, like the amount of data that they collected. So I can forward that to any of you that want to read it, but basically what she said, and I made some notes to come in here, in regards to the concern with the weeds dying, they said we definitely have the starry stonewort, which she said is of the biggest concern because it chokes out the native, the good weeds, and the fish don't like spawning in the stonewort. She said treat that to the absolute fullest extent. She did have concern with our harvester practices because she says the harvester can't discriminate between the good weeds and the bad weeds. So she said running it typically all summer long is not what they would recommend. They said ecologically it's not ideal. So she said you got to make sure that you rotate, different areas so that you let the native good weeds come back, and hopefully like the stonewort would be controlled more by the treatment than the harvester.
So is stonewort the one that you can't really harvest because if you cut it, there are fragments that will...
Unfortunately, she didn't get into that, but
Most
like
of
she
the
said,
invasive
like,
species do that.
Is it? Well, I thought there was one that Paul had said is particularly...
Eurasian water milfoil, and
is
then
it
curly leaf
milfoil?
pondweed. goes do that.
So all of them do it? I
A
thought
lot
there
of
was-
them do,
Oh.
but that's like why they're a nuisance.
Yeah.
So she said our lake, she said, based on the survey that they took, like, we're generally shallow, so we build up, she said, like, you get a lot of nutrients build up. So she says, like, weed growth in our lake is just inevitable.
Yeah.
You know, so she said, we just gotta be careful. As far as the fish go, she said we had like a really good supply of like walleye and bass and other foraging species, but like the bluegill are stunted. Like she said, like, it was amazing when you read the report, like, it was
This
the-
is from years ago, though.
Yeah, but she said it should still apply, you know, that's why they do it.
Even though it's been like
Yeah,
11 years?
unless, she said the only thing that could have changed is like the weed population. Because she said the bluegills, they don't spawn in
Right.
the stonewort. So like if we're churning up the good weeds or the stonewort is crowding out the good stuff, they have nowhere to spawn. So even with that said, they are catching large numbers of bluegill. It was by far the most popular fish, but they're all small. Like none of them grow. And they even aged them, which I found weird.
Herbicides can do that. They'll stunt reproduction, like, and just like how fish can reproduce, and then they also can affect their life cycle.
So
So-
she said like, they have record of all the, stocking that we've had over the years. And like she said, like the pike they put in, the walleye, they catch them and they age them, and it shows that the ones they put in there grow. Her recommendation was, that we still do a regular program of fall walleye stocking because they will forage out some of the small bluegill and reduce the competition and allow them to grow. But she did say it should be like 3 to 5 fingerling walleye per acre on alternate years until we get the stonewort under control. So that was her recommendation. So how many acres is our lake?
265.
265, so you'd be looking at about 1,000 fingerling walleye every other fall.
So we can make that a recommendation. I would say, I think we generally go with this Imlay City Fish Farms. I think that's who we usually use, at least it's who we used in the past. So they don't always have all the fish,
Yeah.
right? They have a limited selection of fish, so we could look to see other places.
sources.
What they have on their website right now is basically bluegill, catfish, largemouth bass, and yellow perch. They've had different stuff in the past, so I don't know if this is up to date or not.
I could always
And
reach back to her.
Why is it walleye that she suggested?
Because they forage on the bluegill.
Oh,
So like we have a large population of them, but their growth is like
Yeah,
stunted.
okay.
So
Yeah.
like they would thin out the herd, so to speak, and allow like them to.
but they
Get a little
don't wipe it out completely,
No,
right? No.
no. Like, I mean, it was incredible. Like, I think like the bluegill that they caught in the nets was like 55% of the total mass of fish that they caught.
Back in 2012.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'd like that
Now,
report.
remember,
Now, they-
something
I-
major has changed since then.
I did ask them,
I mean,
like,
I don't know if you
so,
guys want to take that into consideration.
what's that?
Remember, we wiped all the weeds out of the lake, like
That was her concern, like,
8 or 9 years ago. So all that data has changed so much.
How did you wipe all the weeds out?
Well, I'm being a little bit, we didn't wipe them all out,
Well-
but we used sonar one year, which just, I mean, it levels wherever it's placed, it pretty much levels the earth, so.
Really?
Sonar does?
So they,
That was used, yeah. I mean, I believe that's a brand name. I don't know what the chemical is
Oh, it's a
offhand.
chemical.
Oh,
okay.
I thought you were saying like sonar
No,
waves.
no, it's
Yeah,
Chemical.
yeah.
Chemical.
That's what I-
But that is the chemical we use. So you could, like, while you're on your computer there, you could type in sonar and see what it does. but-
so they do, it's not something like that we request that they come out. It's not like a service that we would pay for. They're on a rotation. So she said with us, being 11 years ago, we wouldn't be up for like another 4. I did tell her that like we would, with our concerns with the weeds, you know, we would like to make sure we're on the schedule.
What concerns with the weeds do we have?
With the harvester guy, like
Yeah,
he
no, it is
called.
concerned.
Yeah,
We
the
talked
harvester
about-
guy?
No, we talked about it last time.
Yeah.
It was just an email that they sent where they said, you know, we're used to collecting more weeds with the harvester, but there's not that many in the lake.
Yes, good problem to have.
Which is,
Quit complaining.
yes, so this was what we talked about last time, which is, you know,
I think he
there's a
also like
balance.
mentioned like how it would be affecting the health of the ecosystem as a whole.
Yeah, he just,
So-
he brought up the concern that he's used to seeing more weeds, and now he has to look for them.
The
so-
fight that we used to have in that lake to keep the weeds down was
Yeah, I know.
incredible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's a balance, right? I mean, we've had, in my, essentially no complaints this year. It's like
Yeah.
one of the first
Well-
years that I can remember we've had.
Her
very
just
long-
thing, like her final
Yeah.
thing was just like, you gotta be, she says you just gotta be aware of ecologically, like what
Oh,
you're
yeah.
doing, so you don't get like an ecological collapse.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Sure.
So if you recall, a couple months ago, I spoke with Oakland Harvesters, and I mentioned, because that's all they do is harvest lakes, they're for hire, and he agreed to come out sometimes, maybe after, you know, after the winter, before we're getting towards the spring, maybe March or something, to give us sort of a little lecture about, you know, what they do, not to hire them for it, but just to tell us, you know, what are the sorts of things that, you know, our harvesters need to focus on and what we need to focus on, and maybe, you know, sort of this topic may come up as well, since he's an expert in that field.
Good,
Yeah.
perfect.
So I guess we could punt until Ed comes back, or just make a recommendation and then see what they can fill. I say we make a recommendation and see what they can fill.
Okay.
So we can wing it. I think we've got $2,500 is the budget. Let me just double check. That's normally what we have. Fish stocking, 2,500. So your, what'd you say? It was fingerling walleye?
It was 3 to 5 fingerling walleye per acre
per acre.
every alternate fall.
Well, I mean, we currently have a budget. Are we gonna ask for?
No, we're just gonna say up to $2,500 at most, right?
So that's, what, 795 fingerling walleye?
Let's call it 800.
800?
Which I think is like
Do we usually
easily,
stock that many fish of
Yeah.
one species?
yeah.
The numbers that I saw there, sometimes we were putting like thousands, like. in
Oh,
there.
is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a historical perspective on that?
I don't, you know, I thought I had it. I was trying to search the
I
email.
believe we put some minnows in one year. That's why you saw thousands.
I have it in here.
Oh,
they have,
what we've stocked in the past?
Yeah, in the record, they have the history of the stocking in here.
Is that on the website?
No, in this report.
Oh,
Like, just for example,
Short meeting.
at one time, we put 65,000 fathead minnows in there. The highest number we did, like 760
So,
pike.
I have up through 2020. So up through 2020, we were basically doing like in 2020, we did 200 largemouth bass, 700 smallmouth bass. It's roughly in the hundreds, 800 perch, 535 walleye, 760 walleye. So I think this is pretty normal. If I looked at what kind of fish were we thinking just now?
Walleye.
So if we looked at the last time we did walleye, which was 2008.
2008?
We did 2012, 2014, 2016, 2019.
well, at least we're going every
2019.
other year like she recommended.
So 2019, we put in 960 6 to 8 inch walleye.
That's
Right.
3 per acre.
Yeah. So that's, the request is affordable.
2009, so it's 19. So we, according to her, we would have been due in 21 to do it again.
So,
So we do it again, let's do 800 walleye.
okay, so we'll put a motion at least to do 800 walleye as a starting point, and then I'm sure there'll be email back and forth on what they have and what they don't have and what they can stock and not stock. My guess is we'll probably have to change it, but we'll handle that offline in email, but at least coming out of here, we have something.
And if that place doesn't have it, I'm sure I could call that Sarah. She could
Yeah.
probably tell us where we could get it.
All right, so do you want to put in a motion for?
I motion we stock 800 fingerling walleye.
Do we-
Support.
Okay.
Why don't we do 3 an acre like the recommendation from the state, so we have
It was
some
3 to
reason?
5.
3 to 5, yeah. So
Split
800
4.
is roughly 3 per acre.
Yeah, so it's 260 acres, you said?
Yeah, that's about right.
It's 3 per acre?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so you say 800, should we just say not to exceed? We could just say not to exceed if we want.
not to exceed,
260 times 5 is, 260 times 5 is 1,300. We're enough of 13, you go up to 1,300. We're not doing that. So we could just say, stock it with walleye, not to exceed budget of $2,500.
Sure.
Fingerling
And
walleye.
not to exceed 5, because
exactly
that was
what I would
beyond the
do.
recommendation.
But what about the other fish? Is this the only one we're gonna stock it with?
I would say just wing it here, that we've done all walleye in the past multiple years, so it's something to go for.
there's, Ed might be able to, looks like there's some missing dates, right?
Yeah, well, there's missing dates 21, 22, 23, so whatever the latest is.
Yeah, Ed, no, I don't remember.
Yeah.
So those other years when we stocked it with that much walleye, was that the only fish we stocked it with?
So in 2019, it was walleye only, with 960 of them. In 2014, it was walleye only, it was 1,200 of them. 2012 was walleye only, it was 1,200 of them.
Just for my education, why is it just walleye? Why not the others?
Her recommendation was because like the only issue with any species we had was like the panfish species, like being stunted. So like that type of fish you put in forages on
Yeah.
the bluegill, which would thin them out and allow them, theoretically, they would grow because there'd be less competition amongst all the fish.
So in 2009, we did 760 walleye and 70 pike. So that was the only other time we did something with the walleye. So, what do you say? Ship it?
Yeah.
So we want to do a motion to stock the lake with fingerling walleye,
Not to exceed
not to exceed
$2,500.
$2,500
Out of budgeted funds.
out of budgeted funds.
So I gotta say that.
I just did, I think she picked it up.
She probably got it. You want to read it back, make sure we're good?
Okay. The motion was by Sparks. I heard a second by Snyder to stock the lake with 800 fingerling walleyes, not to exceed $2,500 out of the budget.
I would even just remove the 800 and just say,
Yeah.
stock it with fingerling walleye, not to exceed $2,500.
Okay?
All right.
We don't want to leave any other variety of fish
I
open?
would say, we'll find out when they say they don't have walleye. We'll probably have to revisit this.
Okay. And we can't make that purchase until our next board meeting then, because of the recommendation?
No, no.
Okay.
I think we've done it in the past over email,
Oh,
saying,
okay.
here's, change it like this, it's okay.
Okay.
What time of year do they typically stock? In the spring?
She said fall.
Oh, fall.
Yeah, so we usually put it in October, and then I think they actually end up doing it in the end of October.
But again, we don't want to stock it with bass or any other fish or pike or anything like.
Not at this time.
We
not
do, we
according
would have to
her.
increase the budget.
Yeah. You're gonna end up doing like 50.
No, too
Right.
small to make a difference.
And there's a method behind the fish that the DNR are recommending. They apparently want the little guys eaten up,
Okay.
Pac-Man style.
Yeah, okay.
Well, then,
Yeah, I
then
don't
they'll
know
be able to
enough
get bigger.
about it to make an educated.
I think the idea is to make
Well,
it
I had to
bigger,
use
so you're not
Pac-Man to make it make
catching a bunch
sense,
of
so
small.
I'm not educated.
Okay, so I say roll call vote.
Sparks?
Yes.
Snyder?
Yes.
Jennings?
Yes.
Dumont?
Yes.
Martini?
Yes.
Jankowski?
Yep.
Harris?
Yes.
Alrighty, moving on. Admin report, current lake level, we're right on target, half inch within target, which is within the noise. We did go way over in those two rainstorms, obviously the lake got super high. It
Yeah.
was about 6.5
Yeah.
inches over the max.
I've only lived here 3 years, but I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was two days of just torrential rain.
Yeah, it was-
We got it back under control in like 5 days. We can bring it down in like
Inch a
just
day.
over an inch a day, about an inch and a quarter a day or something like that. We took it down, which will be good data at the end of the year. We'll be able to see it, see if it confirms a typical trend. But yeah, we did blow over the limit for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
What do you mean by blow over the limit?
I mean, six inches over the
Okay.
limit is crazy. We could open the gates earlier, there's things that could happen, when we see a big rainstorm coming, we can kind of be proactive, but it's kind of splitting hairs.
But
If
I
it's
mean,
not
that's-
actually automated, it's,
But did
And
that
then if the rain
6-inch
doesn't come, you blow
Yeah.
the lake.
But yeah, did that 6-inch overage cause any damage to anyone anywhere? Do we
My,
know?
on
I
my
mean,
end of the
people
lake,
were
my neighbors
complaining.
Underwater.
What's that?
My neighbors across the canal, like the water was all the way up to their patio.
Right,
Yeah.
but there was no damage
No,
from that?
just
Yeah.
like for a couple days, the
Yeah.
lake was in their
People
backyard.
were complaining, and then they didn't want anybody like driving fast on the lake because the water was up on their property. I mean,
Oh.
it's definitely not good, but, you know, unless that whole thing is automated. If it was automated, it would be easy, right?
You
just open
literally
it up,
have to go
base-
turn a crank.
Yeah, you physically have to, and it has to be during a weekday, right? You physically walk over there, turn.
I'll be the official crank turner.
You want to be the crank turner, you're gonna monitor the weather. Let's say, we could,
Do it.
literally, you could write a program, and make this really easy.
Yeah.
Monitor the weather, the lake.
Have transponders
So-
send them a signal.
So speaking
collar
of
that we
lake
got.
level drawdown, do we have a date that we're
Yeah.
proposing similar to last year?
Yeah, so we've been doing it on October 31st. I don't see why that needs to change. I guess we could
And I
just
think we got
confirm a
positive-
motion.
we
Yeah,
got
every
positive
year. I
feedback
think that
on
should be
that,
like the
yeah.
new thing, so
Yeah.
I guess if we don't do, we should probably just confirm that and make a motion for that as well.
Good idea.
What's to confirm?
We probably just to make sure that they don't start
drawdown.
taking it down in October before our next meeting.
Right.
No, it's a good idea.
Yeah, so we can do that. Why don't we do that, just.
Who do we confirm that with?
We'll just, what we can do is just make a motion and it'll go to council, but I'll
Yeah.
just talk to Andy.
Yeah.
Andy does it, so.
I move we delay our drawdown date to October 31st.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Cool, good reminder. We should do that permanently.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure we can make that permanent. Okay, good talk about lake level. Noteworthy complaints by the village outside of the fact that the lake level was really high. I posted online just telling people that we're taking care of it and people were cool with it. So I don't think there's any significant complaints that I saw. I don't know if anybody had anything to add. No? All right, next section, really just key date stuff. So fish stocking decisions we just did. Last day of the harvester is generally mid-October here. So it's gonna wrap up. We'll try and get a report together on what it did and what it didn't do over the summer. So that's kind of mid-October. Pretty sure we're done with treatments. I think they stopped doing treatments right around Labor Day. So pretty much that should be over. I'll see if we can get Paul in here for like an end-of-season discussion next month, because I also want him to come in and just talk about where we are with the website. So outside of that, we did last day of treatment, summary to council. We should try and get a summary to council on the stuff from the year in October. Lake drawdown begins October 31st. So pretty much the end. As soon as you start talking about lake drawdown,
Yeah.
that's the summer. And honestly, I mean, this, I would say by next meeting, this summer's basically over, right? I don't think we had anybody in here complaining all summer.
Not once.
We've had 0 guests.
Is that unusual?
Yes. A good unusual.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep on moving on. Continuing business. Plant control and invasive species. Don't have anything to add there. If anybody has anything to talk about.
Harvester.
Harvester is still running. It's going to run until mid-October, so I haven't seen any issues with it. Eric is supposed to keep an eye on that. He's not here today, so I don't have anything to add there. Lake enforcement issues. I haven't heard anything specifically. Anybody hear anything worth talking about?
No. Except for jet skis.
They go so fast from under that bridge. It's crazy.
What does?
The jet
Jet
skis.
skis.
We need to get a radar.
Come on.
Oh, under the bridge.
Sorry,
huh?
let's keep going. All right, website content. I'm gonna have Paul come in. Had an email with him a couple weeks ago. They're still working on it. Again, we kind of iterated with some information. He said he's gonna have some kind of draft at the end of the summer. So hopefully he has something for next month. I'm gonna try and get Progressive in here next month, so maybe he can put something up on the board and we can see what it looks like. DNR Lake Survey that we added to the agenda, we kind of just talked about. So we got our name on the list, maybe they come back out. I think that's probably the best we can do. So I think I'm good with that.
4 years.
Yeah, I'll try to be persuasive.
Yeah.
Just keep reminding her.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not free, it's something that we had previously budgeted for just saying an actual fish survey, an actual fish count, like getting an actual measurement of the lake outside of water quality, which is what we get through Progressive, right? We haven't really had anything in a long time, so. Okay, future business open items, open discussion, AKA roundtable. What do you got?
Nothing.
Come on.
Paul, what do you got? Come on. Come on.
I've been thinking the whole meeting.
No chicken news?
No chicken, no.
We didn't get to that yet.
Other than
chicken
that, they
news.
already mentioned about having the harvester guy come on and give us a talk, but that will be
Yeah.
until
End
March.
of year.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you want to do it beginning of?
I'd rather do it then because it'll be fresher in our minds
Yeah.
as opposed to us hibernating
Okay.
for a few months.
Yeah. So why don't we, we'll just do something, put something here.
Bless you.
Bless you.
So February, when we come back, we're gonna put something in here. Let me say, confirm harvester discussion with
Oakland harvesters.
harvesters. I'll put it in there.
Yeah.
So now we'll remember it when we come in February. What do you got?
Is that our next meeting?
No, we'll have a meeting. We generally, I think last year we canceled December, January at least. We might want to consider November this year with how quiet it's been.
Yeah.
Generally,
We
there's-
don't have anything, right?
Yeah, generally the November stuff, we would be talking about nothing.
Yeah.
Whether the lake level's at the right spot or something. So we might want to cancel a couple here, but
Okay.
let's keep on keeping on.
All right, it's on me.
Yep.
Council, the cycle challenge area, the BMX spot inside of, or what will be inside of Clara Miller Park. Right now, it's just in the master plan, but it's slowly moving through. It's now going to Mike Powell's office to be drawn, not for final bid drawings, but more for better drawings so that we can make better decisions.
Sorry, I didn't hear what the subject, what is it?
It's the cycle challenge area, the BMX little dirt track that we're going to put in Clara Miller Park. It's in the
Next to the
Clara
tennis
Miller master plan, and so it's been in the long-term purview for, I don't know, 10 years, something like that, close to it.
Roughly where is that going to be?
Where it is now, there's like a dirt
Yeah, yeah,
spot.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I know.
Basically, we're going to regrade it and make it look on purpose
Oh.
instead of like a meteor
A hole.
hit.
Yeah. My kid loves riding in there.
It's not, yeah, this is not a major project, it's just
I
a
like
cool
riding in
project.
there.
It'll be,
Yeah,
I think they're talking like basically landscaping, maybe some heavy landscaping,
Yeah.
but make it something.
Dirt
that's-
ramp.
Yeah.
Right, it's right by the tennis
So
courts.
I'm excited about it, that's for sure. I can't do it, but I'll watch the kids do
We go
it.
in there, I take my kid in there.
Yeah, well, maybe I can get my mountain bike in there, we'll see.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we're going to be working on some ditch work in a couple spots in Wolverine Lake. The bigger one that was talked about most was the one on Wolverine Drive. It affects us because it connects into the Greenaway drain. If you can picture, if you can picture what flows into the Greenaway drain. That piece of it is now, I believe, moving forward with construction, so, at some point. They just approved it. We have an Eagle Scout project that was approved again, so it's moving through. If you remember, that's the one that he's going to build a sign for us in Clara Miller Park as well. The fowl committee, the chicken and duck committee met.
Ducks are included now?
I don't think so. To know everything that was included, you can go back and listen to the meeting and try to make out, it was probably 15, maybe 10 minutes of presentation of what's in it and what's not. So I just took the highlights. I watched it twice, just trying to pick up what I could, but it's hard to hear from that mic, and that's where the presentation was from. So I don't have all the answers, but what I can tell you is that it is going to be sent to the attorneys, our attorneys, for a draft ordinance. And then that draft ordinance will go back through the chicken subcommittee. And then from there, they would motion it presumably to council for final passing, if in fact.
Do you have highlights? Any idea of highlights? Is it chickens for all? Is it no roosters?
It's not, there are a lot of proper restrictions, and they are not finalized.
Okay.
So
Are they
No roosters?
available online somewhere?
I'm not going to defend this because I don't know enough about it.
Is that all online, though? You can see all the
No.
provisions for it? No?
No, well, you can watch the YouTube council meeting.
But the words and music aren't together yet as far as.
The YouTube
ordinance.
council meeting on
Right.
chickens.
That's what's coming together.
Okay.
Right. Whether or not you could get your hands on what they wrote at the, yeah, you should be able to.
So that doesn't require a vote from the village at all, huh?
I'm sure they'll have public hearing.
It does, it requires you to vote for your council people that represent you in the village.
Yeah.
Definitely
But
does.
that- this
Vote
would-
come council time.
This would require a public hearing.
Keep
once
people
they've
like me out.
Done stuff,
When
right?
somebody's running for council, we're gonna have to, what's your stance on chickens?
Oh, yeah.
It's a question we didn't think we had to ask, living not on a farm.
I trust the chicken
We
committee.
might have to expand that and say, what's your thought on cows? What's your thought on sheep?
Well, we bought a new Kubota four-wheel drive tractor. That I can talk about. I know more about the tractors than, and I don't know everything about them, but they make more sense to me than the chicken committee. It was a decent piece of equipment. It was about $75,000. And then
What was it for? What was
we
it
also,
for?
and that was out of budgeted funds. So we've been planning for this purchase. That replaced an old tractor. I don't remember how many years were on that, but I'm going to guess it was 20 plus. And then in addition to that, we purchased a Caterpillar AMR backhoe loader. That was we'll call it $130,000 with gear, with accessories, attachments. What are they?
Attachments,
Farm
implements.
Implements. Thank you.
These are just DPW use?
Yes, but DPW is involved in so many of our projects.
Mhm.
DPW ends up in kind of as a joint venture a lot of times with our projects. So we'll bid a project out for private contractors, and then we'll say, but our DPW is going to handle
This
this of it.
fraction.
Yeah. All right. And that is it for exciting things from council.
So what kind of?
Well,
things do
I'll
we-
say one more thing, and but I don't know if it's really council, it's probably more you, and that's that we have a planning meeting tomorrow night, which is unusual. And I just wanted to mention.
No, I'm not going to say
We
anything.
don't even have planning.
I
meetings on the
simply wanted to
scheduled
mention
nights.
that it's an unusual date.
Yes.
So,
Let's hear about that then. Hot tubs?
that was the only part of it I wanted to bring up, so that people know that it's not next week, it's
Story
tomorrow.
of Thunder.
That's all I had.
Are you trying to make
All I
more?
had.
Are you trying to make more rules to restrict our hot tubs?
Yes, I am. You know,
Did I take all your thunder with?
that was it. I mean, we discussed
I'll buy you dinner.
a public hearing on the hot tub and spa issue. And they wanted a public hearing. It already got to council.
Yep, and
And
then
they
kick
kicked
it
it
back.
back to planning. So,
You have a special meeting.
a special meeting tomorrow. I'm going to miss it because I have a work meeting every third Thursday of the month where I work. But I'm sure it'll be
Raise your
exciting. You should
priorities.
I know, you should all be there. If you have some
How do
concerns
people
about.
know that this exists?
It was
Because-
published.
Where? In the
I'm
newspaper?
sure, yeah, I think it was in the newspaper and on the website.
And it's on that sign probably, I
Yeah,
would think,
yeah,
Okay.
on Glengarry and South Commerce.
yeah.
I wasn't actively looking for the hot tub meeting, but I definitely didn't know it was happening.
I'm guessing, I don't know. I would
Smarter
think it'd be
now.
on the sign.
I'm with you, Ryan.
And, you know, even though we've got the hot tub thing, they booted us right out of the chicken question, and I couldn't be happier, so.
Nice. All right, anybody else have anything? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Did you time this one?